side of this, I want to jump on this question. And the question is about cover letters, because I see James mention that. Do you read cover letters? I have this question from candidates all the time, like, do I have to have a cover letter with every application? And for me, I'm not a fan of cover letters. I'm sorry, but I really would like to hear what you guys have to say. Do you read cover letters? And I don't know if Bola, you want to lead on that. Like, do you have time to read cover letters, really?
So honestly, I think it's I mean, no size fits all, right? So it depends on the level of role, first of all. It depends on the number of applications you receive. I mean, secondly, it depends on the urgency of how you want to fill the role. But again, if I have to speak within the space I am, within the technical space, it's a no. Okay. I mean, we don't even get to read the cover letters because that's not what I'm looking for. Like, I don't want to see those introductions. Like, there's no information you want to give to me in that cover letter that's going to be useful to me in terms of, but again, like I said, it depends on the environment. It depends on the role you're applying to. So I'm not going to write it all, right? Again, I mean, for an intermediate person that is trying to get a job, I'm going to say, do all you have to do, right? Because you don't want something that might be used against you. You don't know what is useful, and it doesn't cost you anything to write a cover letter. It's better for you to write and it's not being read than you don't write at all and it's demanded, right?
Thank you.
So
Thank
it's
you.
just, it's good to be safe. Yeah, I'll just say it's a better way to be
I
safe.
like the way you balanced it out. Like, it could be a yes or a no. Kito, what's your opinion? Do you read cover letters?
99% of the time, I don't read cover letters. But depending on the role, like, I mean, sometimes you're recruiting
James
for a
is
content writer, then maybe I would read a cover letter. But most of the time, I don't. I go through your resume, and I don't request for it either, because I mean, I'm recruiting for tech most of the time, so I don't request for a cover letter. I mean, it's great. A lot of people put it, but I don't read through it. No.
interesting. James, I know James is dying to chime in, like,
God.
because I know he made reference to cover letters, and I guess James is one of those scrutinizing recruiters that will make sure you cross all the T's and dot all the I's. Okay, what's your opinion? Do you read cover letters?
Sorry. Also, I am sorry to disappoint you. Honestly speaking, 95% of the times I don't. And really, truth, yes, I don't. And really, it's amazing because you go on, I mean, when you see videos and you see all the stuff and people just emphasize cover letter. Like Bola said, having a cover letter is awesome, right? There are times you'll be hiring for like a very senior role, which I do. Because I currently work with a consulting firm, right? You're hiring like a senior manager, the applications are few. I sometimes go to cover letter when I am on the fence, right? When I feel someone's background or experience on the resume I mean, it has some details, but maybe not too detailed. I may want to go to look for the cover, I mean, to look at the cover letter to see what you've done, because your resume can only be as concise as possible. Cover letter is where you're supposed to express all those things you've done, your key achievements and all those stuff. But really, typically, on like if I am recruiting, I have a lot of profiles to look at. I definitely don't look at cover letter. It's not the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah, but like because what Bola said, depends on the level that will now determine if I would have to look at
Wow.
cover letter.
Thank you. Thank you. This is revelational, not just for me, but for a lot of people, because, there's been so much about focus on cover letters, and man, focus on having a great resume is what I say. But I think these are all wonderful points that you have all shared. Okay, one question that is very important for you all to chime into is this question about getting your foot in the door in Canada, getting your first job in Canada. So I know we all have great jobs right now. Like, we're all settled in I mean, tech, retail, consulting. We all have great jobs. But what would you advise somebody who has recently landed in Canada, trying to get their first gig, and they're really struggling in the process? I know myself and Bola have had conversations sometime, and when you say things to people like, don't worry, it'll work out, like, give it some time, it's not something that people want to hear, right? So if you were to advise somebody, like, we've all gone through that phase, and if you were to advise someone going through it right now, what would you say? And I think I'll start with Keto.
Okay, so I would say first have a plan, but be
Mm,
flexible, be adaptable. Understand the industry you're going into. There's some places where the ease of entry is the barrier is so low, right? So there are so many people that are in the same field with you, people that are already here who have the same competence that you are bringing with you. So you need to understand, what is the industry? What is the field that I'm working in? What obtains here in Canada? Is it easy to get a job here? Is it difficult? You need to understand those things. Have your own strategy, but be flexible. Work on your CV, share with people, connect with people, think through ways that other people are not going to think through,
mm-hmm.
and reach out through those means. I got my job through an employment, they call it one of those settlers
Employment
programs, right?
agencies. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
great.
there's so many ways to get a job, and my strategy was, okay, I'm going to work on my CV. And I'd done that thanks to Bosun. She helped me even before I came into Canada. I had my resume done. And so I started applying. I also had like, okay, if in 3 months I don't get something, what is the next thing to do? Right? You also want to know where you are getting stuck. Are you getting interviews, or you are not getting interviews at
Right.
all? And I think you've
Right.
done an extensive video on that. You need to understand, what is my problem? Is it that my CV is not even getting picked, or is it that I'm getting the first call? I'm not getting to the interview stage, or I'm getting to the interview stage, I am not getting a final job. You need to be able to self-diagnose your own problem and find a way to, find the solution that would get you to
Great
where it is that
advice.
you're going to. So overall, have a plan, but be flexible, and see. And
Amazing.
at the end of the day, we all get something, and we will all
Yeah.
get something good. Yeah.
That is beautiful. That is so beautiful, Kito. And thank you for sharing that. I'll go to Bola. Bola, what would your advice be to someone in that space now?
Yeah, I mean, it could be challenging, getting your first job in Canada, and I'm sure there are quite a lot of articles, there are quite a lot of do's and don'ts. Don't ignore those things. Okay, I mean, they really might not work all the time, and they really might work sometimes. But I think the key thing for me is consistency.
Mm,
Right? You need to be consistent. You might have to apply to a lot of jobs before you get your first job. Don't give up. Okay. Just keep doing whatever you're doing, and secondly, for me, is try to network. Again, like I said, there are a lot of do's and don'ts, right? None of this might actually work for you, but somehow, some way, one of it will definitely work for you, right? So you want to keep, building your networking. Number three is your LinkedIn profile. Now, this is an environment where LinkedIn is a major tool. I tell you, LinkedIn is a major tool for recruiting. You want to ensure that you have a good LinkedIn profile, right? That really speaks well to whatever you're doing. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to bombard people every time on LinkedIn, but your LinkedIn profile says a lot, right? In terms of, example, when I look at people's profile, like James, even when I'm confused, I want to go back to LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn gives me an insight into, because you can't hide that information, right? So what I can't find in your resume, I should be able to find it on LinkedIn, right? And I think the other thing for me is understand the environment.
mm-hmm.
Canada is a very unique environment. The culture is very, very unique. It's not what you've experienced before. Trust me. Doesn't matter the kind of company you've worked for, either multinational, this environment is very, very, very unique. And what do I mean by that? You go into an interview and the recruiter is smiling with you, the hiring manager is smiling with you, nodding the head for you, telling you, it doesn't mean,
You had to go there. You just had to go there, Bola.
you need to understand the environment, right? You need to your interviewing skills, you need to sharpen it very well, right? And you need to know how to make a balance, because it's not every time. There are times you need to bring in your A game. There are times when you need to calm down and listen. Sometimes these are kind of the nuances, some of the things that recruiters speak, particularly because you're a new immigrant, they know this thing, they can tell. First of all, your resume says it all already, right? Because if you've worked in Canada before, you're not going to hide the location of your resume. But people are so eager to put in Canada on their resume. If they've worked for like a company, you see them put Canada location.
Mm-hmm.
But if you haven't worked in Canada, I can always tell when I see your resume, right? So there's already that kind of bias, right? For someone that is so I mean, that is not internationally inclined,
International.
that is fixated on Canada experience. I mean, these are the kind of things you hear about. These things are somehow real, and also they are not real, right? That's what I'm saying, that, you know, you need to be able to create a balance for yourself, pretty much understanding the environment, the culture, their interviewing style. In Nigeria, or wherever we came from, the key things are not a phone screen. You don't get to have a phone screen first. It's actually, you know, a panel interview. But that phone screen, I tell you, is the gateway. It determines your next level. Right? I mean, that's the first thing that happens. So you want to create that good impression. And how do you do that? When you understand the culture, when you understand what the recruiter most time are looking for, right, in the phone screen, it helps you. So do your research very well. I know it's not going to be easy, but I can say one thing I know for sure is consistency. Apply to jobs like, take it like a job on itself, right? Like your application should be as smooth.
Guys, we don't even want to talk about how many applications Bola had. Like, he was everywhere, like
I tell you, and the beautiful thing is that, you know, when one clicked, like the other kept spraying him, and I had to be the one declining off. And that's the beautiful thing about it. Just be consistent about it. Like, don't give up. I mean, attend seminar. Like, don't disguise those things. Like, those things, they might not be, I mean, they really might not work for you, like I said, right? But they also could be very important. Maybe I want to share this in summary. One thing that worked for me was I had an interview, and I think I'm a fast talker, right? So the VP of talent, you know, felt that there was something unique about me. But of course, it's an interview, right? Someone has to be better than someone. Then she reached out to me personally and told me she wanted to give me feedback, right? And what she said to me was that, you know, you talk so quick, like your words are so, I mean, spinning like fire. We couldn't get what you're saying, right? I know you've got the stuff. From what you said, I know you know what you do, but I couldn't take notes of what you were saying. There was nothing for me to go back to review, to compare to other candidates. And I think that was it for me. The next interview I had, that's the job I have right now, right? And that person right now, she's my mentor, you know? So sometimes you want to understand the environment. You want to learn these interviewing skills very well and be willing to take feedback.
Amazing. And, you know, just imagine if you didn't get that feedback, which is why I think feedback is a major thing. And it's something you should also look out for as a candidate, because even if you don't get the job, an opportunity to stay in connection with the person, an opportunity to hear how you actually did could help you prepare for the next interview. Yeah, James.
Yeah, I mean, when you said it, when you've gone deep again, really, the parts that in terms of the communication that Bomba just mentioned last, it's really top notch. Because of my position right now, I tend to interview people all over the world. My organization have those programs where they could sponsor work visas for you. So I interview from everywhere. I interview candidates everywhere. And honestly speaking, sometimes there are some people that I interview and I just get, like, literally, I can't take notes, really. I am just lost. I really can't hear what they're saying. I know they have a fantastic CV and all the stuff, but it's hard to. And really, when you're engaging your hiring manager as a recruiter, you're like the first point of view. You screen the person, then you try to kind of defend the candidate. When you're defending, you want to say those things that the person has or have that made you to be like, wow, this person is a good fit. And not being able to say those things makes it difficult. Another mistake, or rather, another thing that I would always tell people if they're trying to land their first job is try to give as much examples as possible. I mean, there's been talks about having the STAR approach to interviewing and all the stuff. It's fantastic. STAR is the situation, task, it's the action and result. Yeah, and result. Awesome. It's a good one. But really, in everything you do, when a recruiter, that phone screening, I have seen your resume, I've seen the activities you've done, right? You want to give examples, put numbers to some of the things you've done. E.g., you implemented something that drove something that saved the company money. Those are the kind of things I want to hear, because when I'm putting down my notes, right, or when I'm sending out my notes, those are the key points I would insist on. So look, this person did this person achieved this. And I mean, it sells you more as a candidate. And really, just like the way Keaton said, you can't really underestimate the power of networking. Before I came to Canada, I mean, some people find it difficult to realize that I've been in Canada for less than a year. Before I came to Canada, I networked like crazy. When I mean network, in fact, I didn't really focus on applying, because I know, I mean, before you get a job, you need your scene, you need all the stuff. I didn't focus a lot on applying. I focused a lot on networking. And guess what? I reached out to a lot of people, and I got like quite a number of those that told me that, look, once you arrive Canada, set up a call with me. Then both of us will have a conversation. And guess what? Within the first 3 weeks of being here, And I kid you not, after the first 3 weeks, I had 5 offers. 4 of those offers came out of my networking with people.
Amazing.
And since then and really since then it's been awesome. I've been moved. For those people that know me, in fact, if some people call me now, they'll be like, okay, which other offer have you gotten? I literally get offer now every month. And for me, networking helped. It helped a whole lot. And what some other individuals also need to also try to sharpen, like what Bola said, is to sharpen up your interviewing skills. In Nigeria, interviewing is different. Here, interview is another thing entirely. You need to know how to tackle behavioral questions. There's something I call the interviewing toolbox. Like if you see a JD, right, you already know that they are looking for a leadership competency here. They're looking for someone with leadership background. They're looking for XYZ. Situate yourself, put yourself in an interview room, highlight those things, then have examples of some of the things you've done, right? Because when they ask you just behavioral questions, you want to be able, because sometimes those things come on the spot and you could get thrown off. And sometimes, to be honest, you may not have done anything around that space before. So you want to have something like a story that you fall back on, like, okay, they ask around this, you can talk about the story and tweak it and try to align it to the question. It helps. And the last one, so I just don't keep going. Like I said, I enjoy talking this thing, about HR and recruiting. And the last one I would say is the icebreaker, right? Here, I always tell candidates, right, if you jump on a call with an interviewer, because of the tension that's flying everywhere, both sides, we are both tense. The interviewer is saying, oh, is this person like a good fit? The candidate is scared that, what kind of question are they going to ask me? Always try to drop an icebreaker. By dropping an icebreaker, it could be something simple, like if the person is maybe it's in a different province from where you are, just ask, how's the weather? They love chatting about those things. Like for instance, now because I've been here in Canada, I watch the American football here, what they call rugby in the US. I support Giants. There was an interview that I interviewed with that I saw the American football just behind her, just in the video. And I asked her, do you watch football? And she was excited. I was like, oh, I am a Giant fan. And guess what? We spoke about that thing for like 15 minutes. The interview itself just lasted about 10 minutes. And I connected so well today. She's one of my very good friends. She's in Edmonton right now. She's one of my very good friends. And she recommended me for the role. I eventually didn't get the job because when I went through the process, but those are some of the things that you may want to also do. It helps you as a candidate to calm down. I think I have to stop now.
Oh, that was, well, thank you all.
So,
I mean, this advice you have all given is golden. The experiences you have shared is golden. I know someone is going to stumble on this video and really get their path sorted from all that you have shared. I don't think I want to take any more of your second. I enjoyed this so much, and I think I'm going to drag you guys back sometime. I'm committing you to it openly now, so you better be nodding your heads and saying yes. So,
Sure.
but thank you. I really had an amazing time chatting with you, and thank you for all the insights you shared. I know this is going to be a huge help for someone out there, so thank you for your time. Any last words, last comments, and then we'll wrap it up. So last word, Kiton.
For me, just thank you, Boston, and really great meeting you, Bola.
Thank you.
Really great meeting you, James. It's been amazing speaking to everyone today. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. And Bola.
I mean, for me, I enjoy doing this, so you can always count me in. Any opportunity to give back, it's something I always look out for. And I think it's nice meeting everyone here. Hearing your experience, listening to your experience, understanding your perspective. For me, I've got some takeaway. Thank you so much.
Amazing. And James?
Yeah, definitely. I have learned a lot. I mean, and I've made additional two friends again here in Canada in the space that I could always just bounce things off every now and then. And really, it's really a good one. You can always count me in. I love talking about talent acquisition because it's a space that a lot of people coming into Canada here, it's one space that people struggle in. And me being on the other side and gaining the experience that I have, it's really a pleasure to share, to try to help people as much as I can. And really, it's really a nice time being here.
I cannot thank you enough. I can see that. I can continue to say that because I'm really grateful and I had a wonderful time. So I won't take any more of your time. I really am just thankful for your stories, for the experience you shared, and of course for your time. So keep blazing the trail, making us all proud. And building bridges for others as well. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
and have a
No, thanks,
wonderful
Bosun.
rest of your day.
Thank
And you
you.
too. And
Bye,
you too.
everyone.
Bye.
All right.
Take
Bye.
care.